I always been a big fan of the Marvel vs. Capcom series growing up. I was a fan since the X-Men vs. Street Fighter days. I loved Capcom games, and I loved the Marvel cartoons such as Spider-Man and X-Men in the 90s, so this was like a dream come true for me. Over the years, the series has yet to disappoint. That is, until 2017's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. People were more let down than an anime fan on prom night. Wow, that joke really didn't age well, did it? The game sparked controversy among the fanbase and casual audience combined. This series, we're going to take a look at games that maybe got some hate, got some negativity, or maybe completely abandoned? Let's see if you can find random matches to play in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Let's see if Chun-Li can take her thighs and crush a watermelon. I don't know if we can answer that one, but let's talk about the game and let's see what makes it tick. And even if it has life left in it. This is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and we ask the question, is it dead? Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is not the best looking game. In fact, it's not that pretty at all. Far from the worst looking game. Some of the later costumes and DLC characters look fine, but if anyone remembers Chun-Li Gate, ouch! Those thighs don't lie though. But they did end up fixing some of this stuff. But it still didn't turn out that pretty. But hey, the game animates well, the backgrounds and the settings are cool. They're like a fusion between Marvel and Capcom universes, like the Mega Man X stage fused with Thor's world. Just things like that are just so awesome. And I love touches like that, it feels very creative. Another gripe people had was with the roster. Remember playing as the X-Men or rocking people in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with missiles and foot dives with Dr. Doom? Well, that ain't happening here. In a baffling mood, the Fantastic Four characters and X-Men characters are nowhere to be found. When Capcom was asked why they did not even include these characters in the game, they replied, yeah, they're just functions. Similar to other characters, but we got characters that can do stuff like that, so hey. Well, this didn't sit well with most people. In fact, it pissed a lot of people off. While this is not an official statement by any means, I'm going to clarify it, but there has been speculation that maybe Marvel had something to do with it because they wanted to promote their movies, Fox had the rights to the X-Men and Fantastic Four, and they didn't want to give them any spotlight. But Capcom's not going to be a jerk and out their business partner or anything like that. I feel like if Capcom really wanted to, they could put in X-Men if were allowed, or Dr. Doom, or any of the Fantastic Four characters, but I don't feel like they were allowed to. And that's kind of sad. And you just don't throw your business partners under the bus. Just don't do that. The saving grace is the gameplay. It's one of the best versus games I've ever played. Well, it's dumb that we have no X-Men or Dr. Doom. We do got Mega Man X and Strider. You also got Sigma, Monster Hunter, Black Widow, Black Panther, and Venom. They're available as DLC. Heck, Venom hasn't been in the Versus series since Marvel vs. Capcom 2. He was completely absent in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This game does ditch the 3v3 combat in favor of the original 2v2, and it works really well here. The tag system is amazing and different, and you have more control of tagging the characters in combat. Want to do a combo and switch out and continue that combo with another character? You can do that. Want to do a super and then have your partner beat them up while you're shooting them with a proton cannon? You can do that. It's so neat and fluid and allows for experimentation. The Infinity Stones add more depth. You pick one, and they have special abilities. Unlike gems from Street Fighter Cross Tekken, these aren't consumable. These are a choice before a battle that help change the flow of things. For example, you got the Soul Stone, which can steal life or retrieve a fallen character, and allow you to use two characters at once. The Space Stone allows you to push your opponent back or pull them toward you, and trap them in a box for a short period of time, thus limiting their movement. And there are many stones in the game that you can try out and choose from. There is a story mode, but it's just okay. There's really not much to it. It's kind of a throwaway thing, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It was cool to see the Capcom and Marvel characters' worlds merge together. There is mission tutorials in arcade mode, local versus, and of course online. That brings us to the question, is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite dead? if you were to jump online, you can find a match. That's right, yes, you can find a match online. I've tried it on the PS4 and Windows PC version of the game, and we got a few matches in. While there isn't a ton of people playing in ranked modes, I did find if you search lobbies, there are quite a few lobbies of people playing and spectating matches. I did find a few more players on PC, and that may be due to the fact that this version of this game at the time of this video's release, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, is free on Game Pass for Xbox One and PC, so this may be a good chance to play if you haven't already. But the PS4 version, I did find players as well, just maybe not as many as that one, but still, it's there. The online is pretty good, and does use rollback netcode, but it's not that bad. I've only had a few issues here and there, but it was great for the most part, and I was having a blast. Before we go, I got a message from a hardcore Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite player, Kinder Party. He has been playing fighting games competitively for many years now, played Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and also Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, among other games as well. So, he's going to talk more about the community for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That's right, there is a community of people still playing this game. So take it away, Kinder Party.
Definitely when it's all said and done, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite will have the most interesting place in the legacy lineage of the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Definitely out of the gate, it had more than a few things going against it that kind of hindered the game's growth. But since then, it's sort of found its own niche in its own way, and I've really enjoyed that. It's a game that I still enjoyed playing today. It's definitely a game that you can get into very easily today, certainly cheaply. No matter what console, PC, Xbox, or PlayStation that you're interested in, you're going to be able to find it for cheap. It's actually included for free in the Xbox Game Pass, which is pretty incredible, and I've seen it get a lot of action on the Xbox side of things, if you can even imagine that. It's kind of shout out to the heyday of the Xbox 360 days for Marvel 3. But yeah, it's a really fun game. It's incredible. You can basically pair any two characters you want, and because of the tag mechanic and the flexibility it provides you, you can do whatever you want. I really appreciate that, and as someone who can kind of come back to it every now and then with a fresh set of eyes after playing different games or trying out other strategies, I can very easily try out new characters or even go back to my old teams and find brand new ways of playing them, because there's just such an open-ended design to the game. So that's going to be timeless about it. Definitely, if you're new and you want to get into it, I recommend checking up with the FOTW series at FOTW series on Twitter. That is the community competitive league circuit, so that's where you're going to find most of your tournament information. And then I will also keep up with the Gauntlet tournament series at I_C_U hater on Twitch. They do a weekly tournament series, and they always host the best. I mean, it's not like nobody's. They host the best players in in North America for this tournament. And the netcode on MVCI is pretty good, so you can enjoy it. You play online without a lot of interruptions, and it's got good rollback. And keep yourself tuned in a game that it might be really hard. Let's be honest, to find a local scene. So definitely, if you're interested in playing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, you want to be comfortable with net play, and get out there and find yourself some lobbies, some discords to start cutting it up with.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is very much worth playing despite of some of the mistakes made with it. Whether you're playing online, at an event, with a friend, or just playing around in training room, finding some neat team combinations and combos, the game also goes on sale quite a bit, and is available on Game Pass if you're a cheapskate or you just spent your last time on Gen and Ramen. I really don't think those two things go together, but people gotta eat and get drunk, right? Let me know if you've played Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, or if you want to play, and what teams would you use? Thanks again to Kinder Party for taking the time out of his day to provide information for this video. Links below on how you can be a part of this awesome community. So, till next time guys, game on.